The situation in northern Myanmar's Rakhine state is dire, with hundreds of innocent civilians, mostly Rohingya Muslims, losing their lives amid intense fighting. Lilianne Fan from Asia Pacific Refugee Rights Network calls for urgent action by the Malaysian government and the international community to protect civilians under siege.
What's happening there is that the civilians, and particularly Rohingya civilians, have nowhere to go to when they're caught in the middle of this fighting. And there's been indiscriminate attacks by both sides of the armed parties on civilians, and very little distinction between combatants and civilians. So we actually saw hundreds of Rohingya who were trying to cross the Naf River to seek safety in Bangladesh, actually drowning, getting killed, getting pursued by drones, military drones, and it was really devastating. So there was a massacre that took place, which was caught in a video, but there have been a lot more incidents of atrocities that have been happening as well, which have not been caught on video, and that's just the tip of the iceberg.
She says it is fundamental for Malaysia to push for adequate humanitarian aid into affected areas through border countries.
So the international community has a really important role to play. And I think that one of the most important things that we have to be doing now is to actually engage the new interim government of Bangladesh to actually try to negotiate with them on seeing if, number one, there's a way to get humanitarian aid across the border, to do some cross-border aid. And this should be done currently now as a matter of urgency, but also it should be done when we take up the chairmanship of ASEAN next year. Obviously, within ASEAN, there is the 5-point consensus, which the ASEAN leaders agreed to. What Malaysia should be doing is to push further on those 5 points, and particularly, the point on humanitarian aid. Currently, it's only being done through the AHA Center, which is the ASEAN humanitarian, the Center for Humanitarian Assistance, but that's not adequate. It's not reaching people in conflict areas. It's definitely not reaching anybody in Rakhine State. And the people in Rakhine currently are facing famine. They're facing literally, an absolute lack of humanitarian assistance, not just in northern Rakhine, but in lots of the other areas of Rakhine as well. And there has to be a push for looking at alternative or complementary ways of getting aid inside to Myanmar, through all the borders, actually, through Thailand, through India, and through Bangladesh.